In our studio here, Anthony Salcito, and we're going to talk about the role of technology in the education. So my first question goes to how important is education in the context of technology?
Well, I think education is critical in the context of the world. As you think about growing economies, as you're thinking about quality of life of citizens and students, having a strong education foundation in a country is critical. It's one of the things that I see globally as education ministers and country presidents are looking to grow their national competitiveness, create a new workplace, is rooting that foundation in quality education. Now we know learning is changed and technology can play a role. So I think technology can play a role in education, but I think the value of education far exceeds just technology alone.
So did technology change the learning?
Yeah, certainly. I think the way in which all of us learn, how we communicate, how we collaborate, how we share ideas, how we get access to a world of content that is available for us, has changed fundamentally the way in which people connect and share. And that's changed learning. Now, we know that our schools haven't changed. And I know that there's a lot of work underway in Croatia, both with modernizing curriculum and starting to bring technology into the classrooms, to start reflecting how that change outside of the schools can actually start to be reflected inside the schools. But for the most part, the way in which learning has taken place in our own lives has changed. We just have to have schools mirror that change and amplify it inside of our classrooms.
Cool. You've initialized Microsoft Educator Network. Can you tell us something about the program and its goals?
Well, one of the things that we know is getting a great group of teachers to share ideas, to learn from each other. I know one of the great things about the curriculum design that's happening in Croatia is that it's teacher-led, teachers supporting each other, etc. And one of the things we've done is actually create a global community where educators, Microsoft Innovative Educators, and we have actually 8 Microsoft Innovative Educator experts in Croatia that are part of that community, really bringing their other teachers into the community where they can learn from each other, connect with experts via Skype, connect classrooms on projects via Skype, as well as get access to resources, training materials, lesson plans, etc. So we've established this community globally, but it really reflects the work that we've been doing to celebrate and connect educators around the world.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you think technology is important in terms of education? Is it limited to colleges and universities, or technology can be applied already in elementaries?
I think first off we certainly realize technology is a valuable tool to how we learn, certainly how schools are operated more effectively and more efficiently. How do we keep kids safe and secure, getting access to the materials? It's true every age. We certainly also see an increased importance of getting students computational thinking skills early as well. Not just coding or developing or ICT skills, but actually how do you think differently in a world of computing outside of classrooms? How do you use those dynamics, whether it's algorithmic thinking, if-then statements that happen in coding? How do we think about that in the context of our learning environments more broadly? Mm-hmm. And getting younger kids involved early is really critical to not only grow future entrepreneurs and coders and developers, but really exposing both boys and girls into computing, because one of the things we see is as you get to later years, technology tends to be too boy or male dominated, and we've got to do a better job of balancing those skills across gender by starting early to get that foundation of computing and computational thinking in our kindergarten, first grade, second grade school systems.
Mm-hmm. What is the role of teachers or professors in the process?
Well, across this whole continuum, teachers are the star. They're the heroes of this journey. We need to certainly do this all for student success and outcomes, but we know the role of a teacher is critical. Both faculty and teachers inside of primary and secondary education. I think what we've got to do is support the teachers on this journey. It's not an easy journey. It's a transition that we're asking teachers to make from traditional ways of teaching to this modern way of teaching, as well as teaching different things, whether it's skills or computing specifically. And I think we've got to celebrate them, understand that this is different, but also really expose the opportunity many of these teachers have to lead and transform. There are stars here in Croatia that are making a magical thing happen for their students. We need to celebrate the work that they were doing, share with other teachers that it's okay to fail. try different things, learn along the journey, share what you've learned with other educators. And we do that, not only will quicken the pace of change, but we'll feel better about the path forward. And I think we're modeling good behavior for our students as well. Because students need to see that we're constantly pushing, we're constantly challenging, we're constantly innovating. And if the teachers can demonstrate that with also fear or risk of failure being part of that environment, it gives the students the confidence to embrace those skills as they pursue their own journey as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as someone who is trying to create new ideas in their own career.
Can you give us a few examples globally where technology changed the education flow that you've experienced?
Wow, there's certainly a tremendous world of education. I get a chance to see amazing classrooms every day where technology is actually just part of it. It's shifting culture. It's getting students to feel like anything is possible. When they walk into a classroom, fundamentally, ask yourself do you as a student feel like I can achieve anything, I can do anything, I can be anything? And if you can challenge yourself every day with that notion, you've got a great system. Now, technology can help that by opening up the world of knowledge for a student, helping students get access to content and curriculum where they didn't have access to a teacher inside of their village or in their town or country. Getting access to other parts of the world really opens up ideas for students. And then creating an opportunity for technology to inform every student's learning needs, whether it's accessibility needs, maybe it's proficiency needs. Technology can actually help individualize learning far beyond the traditional classroom structure. And I think that has helped. So we've seen schools embrace these dynamics. We've seen schools embrace things like gaming, and we see the excitement that Minecraft brings inside of students, and that's happening in classrooms.
Where are these schools that embrace gaming?
It's happening everywhere, including Croatia.
Really?
Yes. The teachers are starting to see the things about game-based environments create motivation for students. When students see a game over screen when they're playing a video game, they often don't throw the game up and say, I can't do it, or I'm no good at this game. They challenge themselves to get better, and they learn skills, and often with each other. And those same dynamics can be brought into the classroom very naturally. Take those motivations and say, hey, we can be good at science or algebra or history. Let's apply these types of things that keep students' curiosity, motivation, their collaboration with peers, and make that alive inside of the classroom. It can be done with or without a computer even. We think about the notion of games, it's often about motivation. If I can go into a classroom and say, okay, let's ask a basic question on something with regards to science or chemistry. And then if I ask that same question, but I split the room and said, okay, this is room A, this is half of the room is A, and this half is B, and whoever gets the answer first wins a prize. You see the energy immediately pick up. You see students working with each other across those teams to find the answer and solve the problem. That's the essence of game-based learning happening inside the classroom. Whether it's a video game or not, you can start to bring those dynamics inside of a school. And I see amazing teachers doing that all around the world. We have to embrace that as part of the journey as well, not be afraid of it, not have traditionalists say it's not part of the education context. We still think it's just a new way to actually make learning more innovative and immersive for students.
So what is your first, look at this sea view when you see Croatia? You came here for the first time.
Sure.
So what would you prefer? What do you see? How do you see Croatia in, let's say, I don't know, 2 or 3 years from now?
Well, first off,
what would you recommend?
Well, I hope the beauty that we see in the country, that I see in the country, is matched by the innovation and ambition of the education system to transform opportunities. I see that in just the conversations I've had with the ministry and the leadership here, that ambition for change, that seriousness around actually reforming holistically, it's great to see. It's not something that I often hear from other countries who are often making the transformation really about the technology. The technology is part of it, but the real transformation schools are under is a people transformation. Powering leaders, our school leaders and headmasters, powering teachers and celebrating teachers, and then supporting the learning journey for students. That's where it starts. And as we think about curriculum reform and assessment reform, those are elements for it, but we've got to create a situation where students are motivated to be successful. They're motivated to become entrepreneurs, to grow new industries and businesses for Croatia. An education system that's forward-looking, that's looking far beyond what we can do now, but really thinking about what does a decade or a decade ahead look like. I think those are the systems that will be more effective, and I think that will reflect economic growth and opportunity. So hopefully, the beauty of the country is matched by a beautiful education environment that happens in classrooms everywhere.
Okay. Can technology, being an education facilitator and tool, spark and empower development and growth?
Fundamentally, we certainly know that that's the case, and it has to be done holistically. Graduation rates and college enrollment doesn't necessarily solve the problem. You've got to have those things happening in a context where students are embracing workplace readiness skills, creating new jobs, creating new industries. Because you just not just need students to fulfill existing capacity and aligning students to fill skills that are needed in the workplace, but you need students to create new jobs, create new assets for the country, to become catalysts for growth. And I think that's something that we need to do with skills and expectations, and model that very early in a student's learning environment. This doesn't start when you go to college and work and look at your workforce when you're a junior in college, but you think about this throughout your learning journey as a student, very young in school. And I think that's the environment. But when you do so, you can see that catalyst. And what we know is countries that have the highest performance of tertiary enrollment in schools tends to be the highest performing GDP, the highest performing growth countries in terms of productiveness. That's the reality. So there's a clear indication that an investment and winning in education is the fuel for a great and healthy economy and really good quality of life as it relates to openness of race, religion, political agendas, acceptance, quality in terms of thinking about the environment, about human rights. Those things all improve when you have a healthy education system in a country.
Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Welcome to Croatia.
I'm happy to be here.